not sure who is watching yet, so we'll just wait a couple of minutes here to so that I can get some actual people to talk to. You may hear from my dog this morning. She's currently on bed rest and in the kitchen, which is where I am because the sewing room is too bright. So I will do my best to keep her quiet. We also may encounter a couple of felines, so it's just going to be really exciting this morning. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Erin. I am known on our blog as Janome Girl. Welcome to Embroidery Week with Janome Life. I'm really excited to show you some really cool things and some settings on embroidery machines today. So to get started, why don't you just leave me a comment of where you are from? We are always interested to see who's watching us from where, and you know, I'll try and give you a shout out if I can see the comments and that kind of thing. I am working today on, oh, hi Doris Ann. Hi, you're from Virginia. So nice you could join us. So it's actually really sunny here today. And hi Liz, Vancouver. Is it sunny there? It's sunny here for a change. So I had to move my setup to the kitchen because it was too bright in my sewing room. Oh, wow. We got Ohio, California. I'm so glad you guys have come to watch us today. We're going to be talking about bobbin cases and embroidery quilting and that kind of thing. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to our dealers in Canada who are working very hard to do curbside pickup and to make sure that you have all the machines and accessories and notions that you need. So, you know, just a huge shout out. They're doing a great job. All of our local dealers and dealers across the country are so appreciating all of your business right now. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Liz. Yes, I'm very glad. Thank you for sending the sunny weather this way. I also want to mention that you can buy a machine right now. Even though you can't get into your dealer, you can buy a machine because in Canada we are drop shipping machines from our warehouse in Ontario. So you can still get a machine right now. So make sure that you talk to your local dealer. Most of them are answering their phones and answering questions. So they're definitely wanting to support you at this time. So, oh, I'm so glad you do, Doris Ann. We love doing Janome Lives too, because it really gives us a chance that we can interact with our customers and see what people are making. And it's really a lot of fun. So I want to talk about bobbin cases for a minute. And I'm just going to move Kitty. Here's Kitty. She likes to sit on the sewing machine. So I just moved her out of the way, and I'm just going to move this over here to where the bobbin cases are, and we're going to talk about them. Okay, so there are 3 bobbin cases that fit a Janome machine. They are a red dot, which is this one. And if you look right here, there's a little red dot. If I can get the lights to work right about here, there, right there, there's the red dot. This one comes standard with your embroidery machines. And then, so the red dot bobbin case, which is this one here with the red dot, this one is meant for using with your Janome pre-wound bobbins. So the pre-wound bobbins come on a card like this, and you can use these pre-wound bobbins for quilting and sewing and that kind of thing. So that's what the red dot bobbin case is for using with the Janome pre-wound bobbin cases. My lips are having issues. The next one I want to talk about is the yellow bobbin case. So it's right here. It's got a yellow dot on there. And this is the embroidery bobbin case. So this has a higher tension on it already set for embroidery threads, and so that it will pull your embroidery thread to the back while you are embroidering or quilting. So this is the high tension. And then this bobbin case is the blue dot right here. And this is a low tension bobbin case. So you would want to use this for when you're doing quilting in the hoop with your embroidery machine, or anytime that you want to have the stitches to balance evenly on your quilt sandwich or on what you're embroidering so that you don't see the pull through on the back. Good morning, YB Crafty. Thanks for joining us. So what I want to show you now is a couple of samples that really puts my words into something visual for you to see. So the first one I want to show you is this sample here. So this is this was on the blog in February, and this was curved decorative stitches and doing some embroidery. And so this embroidery, it looks really beautiful from the front, but when you look at the back of it, you can see that it doesn't really look very pretty on the back, because you can see where my threads are. I obviously did not match my bobbin thread to my fabric, and I didn't use a blue dot bobbin case for this quilting. So you can tell in your finished product what kind of finish you're going to get with the different bobbin cases. So that's that one. This sample is done with AccuFill designs. So these are designs that are designed for quilting in the hoop. And so this is the front of it. So you can see we have really, really good stitch definition there. And then if we look at the back, there still is really good stitch definition. So that's what we're looking for when we're doing quilting in the hoop. So definitely make sure your bobbin thread matches your fabric so that it either blends in, or it can be the same as your top thread so that it matches. So that's the difference. So this is the back with a yellow dot bobbin case, and this is the back with a blue dot bobbin case. So when we talk about quilting in the embroidery machine and quilting in the hoop, there's some features on your machine that make it really easy to do that. One of the challenges that you might have with quilting in the hoop is your threads. What do you do with your threads? How do you get them from nesting on the back? So there's a feature on embroidery machines from Janome called the OneStitch Stop. Now what that does is, if I come back over here so that we can look at the machine, and we'll wake it up. So the OneStitch Stop is in the set menu. So you need to go into settings, and then you need to go up here to the embroidery settings. So these settings are things like volume, your measurements, if you want to always go to the machine, if you always want to go from a USB stick, all kinds of things. So these settings affect the machine. These settings affect your embroidery. So this is where you can change the auto tension. This is where you can turn off or on your bobbin thread. So if you like to play bobbin chicken, I would say turn it off. But if you like to know when you have some left, then you can have it as little as 0.5 all the way up to a 4. So just depending on what kind of thread you're using. So you can also change your speed here. So this is the OneStitch Stop. So what that means is when it is activated, it is going to take one stitch and stop so that you can pull your threads up. So I want to show you how that works. So the first thing actually that I need to do is I need to give my machine just a quick little brush out here, because it's all ready to have that blue dot bobbin case put in. So do you have any questions so far about bobbin cases and anything like that? Any settings on your embroidery machine, anything like that? If you have a question, I would love to hear them. So I'm just gonna set this bobbin case in here and make sure that it is set, and then I'm going to put the plate back on. So with the embroidery only machines, they don't have magnets to hold their plates on. They have actual screws. So if you are changing your bobbin case, make sure that those screws don't go missing. And of course, my fingers are not going to work when I go to try to screw them back in. There we go. So I always like to alternate when I am screwing my needle plate back in so that it is balanced when it goes back in and it's tight on both corners. So I am using a pre-wound bobbin today. Even though I'm using the blue dot bobbin case, I wanted to use a pre-wound bobbin. So I'll drop that in there. And then on the top, I have got this really, really beautiful iris cotton quilting thread. And it's in this really beautiful blue color. Oh, Bosherbit says, I put my screws in a magnetic dish when I take them out. That is so brilliant. That is such a great idea to do that. Okay, so now we're going to travel a tiny little bit over here to where I have my cloth setter. And this is my cloth setter here. It's all set up. This is the fabric that I'm going to be using to quilt today. And I have these magnets here. So one of the features of this big hoop on the 550E right here are these clamps, I guess. They're a new style of clamps so that you can hoop your fabric halfway and then make sure it's where you want it and then finish it off. So I have my fabric already hooped, and this hoop also comes with magnets. So you can use these magnets to help secure your fabric in your hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and put on 4 of these magnets just to make sure that my quilt sandwich is really anchored really nice and tight. So they do take a little bit of effort to put them in the first few times that you use them. And I like to start with the clasp here, with it going here on the frame of the hoop and then pushing it over to attach to the other side. So that's those 2. And then I'm also going to do this one up here. And then this one over here. Now, when you're doing the magnets on the clamps on the hoop clasp side of your project, you do want to have just a little bit more slack right here because it has to be loose enough to fit over where the hoop clamps onto the machine. Okay, so everything is hooped here. I can see with my crosshairs that I'm a little bit off from center, but that's okay because I can adjust that when I go over to the machine. So now we're going to go over to the machine and we'll have a look and get that all ready there. So does anyone else have any tips about changing their needle plates or keeping their sewing room tidied up? We would love to hear any tips and tricks that you have. Okay, so now I'm going to put my hoop on and I'm going to lift my presser foot to make sure that it's up. And then as I come across here, I'm just going to make sure that my fabric is down so that I can slide it over. And what I love about Janome machines is they have a little bit extra give in the hoop to be able, in the presser foot, to be able to get thicker things underneath and hooped underneath. Okay, so we've got everything here and I've got my thread here. So I'm going to start my design. So I'm going to press my start stop button. Oh, and it says lower the presser foot. Okay, I will do that. So it takes 1 stitch so that I can pull up my bobbin thread. And so that means that when I look at the back of this, it's not going to show all of the threads. So I'm just gonna pull that thread so that it's underneath and away we go. So this design is a very quick design that I picked. And I'm just gonna stop that again because it looks like I didn't thread my bobbin properly. So I'm gonna start with the scissors and undo this. Aha, yes, I did not. It was not in the proper position. So I'm going to double check that. When you're threading your bobbin, you want to make sure that your thread comes through both of the notches on your bobbin case. Okay, so now that's in the right spot. And we'll go back here. All right. So I wonder if I can easily unpick that. That's okay. So I'm going to start again. Every time you start and stop with your embroidery, you will get that one stitch stop. So even though you need to readjust or rethread, you're always going to get that one stitch stop. So now if we look at it, we can see that it's stitching out much better. So this is a really quick motif that we're stitching out. It's only 3 minutes long. Yes, Bosher Bits, you are just full of all kinds of good tips this morning. A good tip for the basting box. Yes, definitely. When you go to baste with your embroidery machine, if you don't pull that thread up, it can be very difficult. So it's a great tip to have the one stitch stop turned on so that when you baste, it can attach to it can get through your layers faster. So there's another tip here. Doris Ann says, I folded my fabric on comic book boards and they look like mini bolts. That is a great idea. The comic book board method is so nice to be able to have such neat and tidy sewing area. For me, for myself, when I'm organizing and folding fabric, I use my 6-inch quilting ruler, and that's what I fold my fabric around to have it nice and even on my shelves. Okay, so we are just about done. Just move those threads out of the way. And when this is done, I will show you the back. So next week on the Janome Live, we are doing serger hints and tips. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week is all about your serger. And so we're really excited to show you some neat things to do with that. So that will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Mountain. So that would be 10 Western or Pacific, and then 1 o'clock Eastern. So the one stitch stop is not only on the 550 and the 15,000, it's on most of our embroidery machines. So that's really exciting. Okay, so this design is all finished, and I'm gonna just press the scissors again just to make sure that it cut my threads. Normally, I would pull up this thread at this point so that I could bury it and not have extra threads here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off and we will have a look at what it looks like. So I will rotate here so that you can see me. Hi everyone again. So I'm just going to pop these magnets off. Oh, I apologize. It's on Instagram. Life is going to be all sergers. Okay, so when I get my fabric out of the hoop and go look at it, this is what it looks like on the back. So had I changed my thread to match, you would just see that it was just blue straight quilting. So this little 1/4 inch is enough to bury these threads. So there's lots of great little tutorials that you can do to bury your threads. But look at how beautiful this quilting design is on the front. So this is a standard design that comes with the 550E. And so now I have some nice long thread tails that I can bury without worrying. So I hope you enjoyed, that's all I have for you today, short and sweet. So I hope you enjoyed our Instagram live today, learning about the OneStitch Stop on your embroidery machine. Please don't hesitate to contact your local dealer for help and for anything that you might need so that you can keep embroidering right now. So later on today, I'm going to have this posted up to YouTube. If you've missed any of our live segments, you can find them all on YouTube. Oh, you didn't know about the blue dot case. Well, I feel so good that I was able to teach you something. That blue dot bobbin case really is essential for quilting and doing in the hoop, or not in the hoop quilting, but for doing quilting with your embroidery machine in AccuFill. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. I hope you all have a great weekend. I know it's only Thursday, but the days are running together over here. So I'm going to sign off. You are very welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to learn something today. And I hope my dog wasn't too noisy. And I'll see you all again soon. Bye.